A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus came down with the 12 and stood on a stretch of level ground with a great crowd of his disciples and a large number of the people from all Judea and Jerusalem, in the coastal region of Tyre and Sidon. Raising his eyes towards his disciples, he said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for the kingdom of God is yours. And blessed are you who are now hungry, for you will be satisfied. And blessed are you who are now weeping, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude and insult you and denounce your name as evil on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice and leap. Leap for joy on that day. Behold, your reward will be great in heaven, for their ancestors treated the prophets in the same way. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation, and woe to you who are filled now, for you will be hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, and you will grieve and weep. And woe to you when all speak well of you, for their ancestors treated the false prophets in the same way." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
As we arrived and entered this parish church of St. Francis Xavier Cabrini this morning, his gaze was already very much upon every one of us. His desire was for everyone here. And his eyes are already raised toward us. And all our possibilities in union with him for ourselves personally and the others who have gathered here. And this is the stretch of level ground. The Sermon on the Mount is happening here among us, looking, each of us in our own way, for a word of compassion, to be cured of our diseases, to be reassured that we are not necessarily bad or deficient, and that the kingdom of God is actually in our own hands. But the ultimate peril is misidentifying the source of eternal happiness. It won't come from being first in this world, but rather first in the eyes of God. Whatever our past, the present and the future will depend on our ongoing conversion of heart and human transformation as his disciples. Remember, there are the apostles and people that are gathered from the area of Judea and all of that. And there are those perhaps from the neighboring area of the Gentiles, Sidon and Tyre, what would be today the area of Lebanon, but they would be more the Goyim, them. But they're all there. And Jesus at this point is looking up especially those who have begun to follow him, who have begun to learn about his life and begin to develop their sense of him and themselves and what life is about, and this teacher or rabbi or healer or whatever he was, they're looking at him, but he's looking up to them. He's looking up to them and their possibilities and raising his eyes to his disciples. And that's us. At this moment of our life, he's raising his eyes this morning as if he was way down there and looking at us and our world and everything we connect with from day to day in our lives. He's looking up, not the disciples of self-centered pursuits, misguiding us toward what we may imagine to be satisfaction, contentment, happiness, bliss, but actually and woefully sad and dead ends. Rather, it's in the blessing and the flow of God, and God's life for us and in us and through us, and embracing others. It's always blessed in his plan, his map, his engineering, his design, his shaping and forming, his rerouting us back to the source, his doing, and not my do-it-yourself. It's among a community of ordinary and godly people who need healing like the rest of humanity, and dare to share the interior joys and hopes, the grief and anguish of so many souls of our time, especially the poor and the afflicted. Jesus is raising his eyes to us and the greatness to be found in the people he sees on this stretch of ground, this place here, this level ground as we can get it, as we are leveled, as it were, together, no matter who we are in his presence. Bring yourselves back to me. Let yourselves flow with me. Trust me. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whoever you are. Fix your eyes on me. See, you can look down on me in them as I lower myself before you. It's not only to receive what you need and woefully forget others or your self-preservation rather than self-sacrifice. We do it for God, with God, and in God, and through God in our life and in others. I might have shared with you before the story of two old friends. They entered a little tavern in the countryside. They sat at a table like they usually did when they got together, and they were filling their glasses and protesting how much each one loved each other because they were such good friends over the years. And suddenly the one, Ivan, said to his friend Peter, "Peter, tell me what hurts me." And this bleary-eyed Peter just looked at Ivan and he said, "How do I know what hurts you?" And Ivan's answer was very swift. "If you don't know what hurts me, how can you say you love me? I believe in one God,
The Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten unmade, consubstantial with the Father. Through him all things were made. For us men and for our salvation, he came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit